On our morning show today from WRCO, we put the spotlight on Ithaca, and in particular, its forensics program, which has a rich history. Lots of alumni there, yours truly included in that list. But in the studio, we have some of the forensic students, including Alyssa Olson, Tyler Steinmetz, Houston Bolin, and Keegan Jones. And advisor Mrs. Julie Thompson is in the studio with us as well. Good morning, Julie.
Good morning. Thanks for having us, Phil.
Great to have you here. So
Yes.
Forensics is something that program is something you're very passionate about.
Yes, I got started in forensics when I was in high school. My English teacher at the time was trying to kind of recruit some people, but she made it a unit in her English class that everybody had to write a speech, and then lo and behold, those are auditions, right? You've got a captive audience, and she really encouraged a lot of us to get into forensics and into drama, and so that I was hooked. I only did it 2 years in high school, but it was a great time. I know I probably have a gift of gab from my family background, but it really did help me become a little more confident in speaking in front of especially strangers and on a topic that you might not be as familiar with or as comfortable with. So,
What category were you involved in?
I did the 4-minute speech. That was, now they call that like the elevator pitch or the short ones. You
Yeah.
got to pack a lot into a 4-minute speech. They don't really have that any longer, but that's a pretty concise. You have to be effective at getting your point across in a short period of time. And yeah, I really like that one.
That is probably one of the older categories, one that's been around for the longest.
Yes.
Have the categories changed much over
Yes,
the
they have kind of evolved, meeting the needs of what's going on in our world and what's current topics and what's current outside of school or in kind of culture. So some of the changes, they've combined informative, which kind of transitioned from the 4-minute speech. They joined informative and demonstration so that you could incorporate some more visual aids and kind of turn an informative speech into something, a how-to. And then that category also allows you to have a second partner if you'd like. And then when they joined those, they added the exposition. So that is more of the 4-minute speech. And I really think that's a great category for novices or people who aren't great at writing a speech in more depth. So it gives them a little taste of what speech writing is like, gives them a chance to try it out and maybe a little less pressure. And then they've added things like the solo acting. They had humorous and serious, where now they've kind of combined those. You still have to choose if it's humorous or serious, but they've combined that. So those are some of the newer categories.
I think the area is pretty rich in forensics programs, just the schools that you compete against.
Yes, absolutely. So the 6 schools that will be at Ithaca next Monday, we're hosting the sub-district contest. That's the first level. Those are 6 schools from Richland Center, Riverdale, River Valley, Reedsburg, Weston brought their program back this year, and then ourselves. So 6 schools, and Reedsburg has a pretty large team. River Valley's is growing. They have some great advisors there, and they're expanding their program. And of course, Sonia Clarkson at Richland Center has really got a great program there too.
Ithaca's walls are going to be bursting on Monday, aren't they?
We're using all the rooms, Phil. All the rooms are going to be used. So I've warned the staff, we're going to do our best to get the rooms back to normal for school the next day, but maybe offer us a little forgiveness and be grateful that we put on a great hosting event at our school. It's great to showcase the district and show the other area schools what we're doing right.
What category is the busiest, the one that students are most likely going to gravitate towards?
So I talked a little about writing speeches, and those are really easy for people who maybe don't want to do the more dramatic presentations. So those fall into the public speaking categories. And then there's also radio news reporting in the public speaking category. I would say prose, so that's written stories, not necessarily a script, but it's a written story. It's probably the most popular for the dramatic arts, as well as poetry, and poetry is also very popular for dramatic arts as well.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
How is the radio? Do many kids do that one right now?
This year it's kind of gangbusters. We have 16 total from the 6 different schools, so it's been, I think, growing. So good for your network and your programming. But normally that's a high number, I would say. So they get some time. They have a full packet of script. They need to kind of pare it down so they can fit in 5 minutes. So they have to create an ad with already the script is written for them. There's news, local, state, national, and international news. There's sports, weather. So they kind of have to create a voice You don't want to sound, you don't want to have your news voice on when you're trying to sell stuff. So it's really a challenging category. Being able to pare down something into fitting into 5 minutes is hard, but these kids really bring it. We have some really talented voices in our area, Phil.
You move on to districts, and here's a job application for WRCO. We should have
Absolutely.
You do that.
I'll recruit for you.
We need that. Oh, well, it sounds like it's busy. What about the team numbers? How are they looking right now at Ithaca?
Our numbers are a little bit lower, and I wasn't necessarily surprised by that. Louise Murphy is a force, right? So she walks in the door, everybody's saying hi, she knows everybody. She stepped back a little bit this year, so she's in she had been a volunteer coach for us, and she's in more of an advisory role. But I think, the numbers should rebound. I see some strong talent in the middle school, and I'm hoping to kind of rope them in and get them. And these guys need to talk to. They have a lot of leadership in this group, so hoping that the team members from this year's team can encourage some kids to come back next year.
Yeah, and I think area-wide numbers are down a little bit. I'm not sure for what reason.
I would agree. I think that's something that I think is really important to talk about. Parents should be encouraging their kids to try the things. I say this to middle schoolers all the time. There is never a safer, risk-low way to try things. You don't know if you'll be good at football until you try it. You don't know if you'll be good at basketball or wrestling until you try it. Track, baseball, softball, all the things. So, if you're not sure if FFA is for you, if you're not sure that forensics is for you, why not try it? You're certainly not going to get physically harmed at forensics. So, if you give it a shot, what I love about forensics is you're not competing with other students or other competitors from other schools. You're just trying to make yourself better. So the judge isn't comparing you to anyone else. It's strictly on what you bring to the room, and the judge is trying to give you positive feedback. It's another thing we always talk about. Adjudicators aren't looking at nitpicky things unless they feel like that's what's going to get you to the magic number of perfection. But they're always giving encouraging and nurturing feedback, trying to help you become more confident, become better at what you're doing.
Some categories have more than one judge. Is that correct?
So there are 3 rounds at the sub-district and the district level. So you have 3 opportunities to perform your piece. And that gives you another outlook, another judge to give you some pointers that maybe you ironed out from the first time, but maybe there's other things that they'd like to see. So it kind of balances. We don't average it. You need 2 minimum scores to move on to the next level. So there's been a restructuring in points. This year you need 2 13s to move on to the next level out of 20. And then at the district level, you'll need a little bit higher. So we're hoping we get our kids onto state.
You bet. And I think that's maybe a little bit more fair way, because back in the dinosaur age when I did it, it was one judge at each level until, I think, state. But that was tough, because I remember 2 years in a row I had a judge that didn't necessarily care for juvenile humor.
Right.
And you had to write your own speech. So
Yeah.
I had a few strikes against me.
It does get hard because, like you said, everybody's got a different point of view, right? If you're an English teacher, you might be looking at the speech writing a little more critically. If you're a drama teacher, you might be looking at it from more of a performance aspect. So it does help to have the different points of view and help, again, like getting the different feedback that those people are seeing.
Mm-hmm. Plus, if you do maybe not as well as you could do the first time,
you have a chance to redeem
yourself.
yourself.
Chance to redeem yourself.
Absolutely.
That works out well. Well, you brought along some students
Yeah,
here.
I'm excited for
Any
these
rhyme or
guys.
reason why you brought this gang?
Well, we have some seniors, and I wanted to give them a chance to talk about forensics, and each one of them had a different journey to get here, so it's nice to hear their perspective. And Alyssa's a sophomore, so I like to give them a chance to kind of share their thoughts, and all of them showed tremendous growth from what I saw of them years ago. So I really want to be able to let them showcase themselves.
So do you think we should start with the seniors and make the rookie go last?
Maybe they can put on a really good performance
yeah.
and model what great radio reporting and interviews are like.
All right. Well, let's start with Houston Bolin. He's been on with us a few times. How you doing, Houston?
Good. How are you, Phil?
Great. Good. So you're involved in so many things. Why did you get involved in forensics?
Well, forensics is something that I went out for my freshman year. However, I didn't compete my freshman year. Miss Thompson gave me the opportunity to still come and kind of watch people compete, but I didn't take her up on it, which I should have, looking back at it now. And then sophomore year, I come back out with a group of guys, and that was a lot of fun. We didn't make it onto state. which kind of sucked, but it was still a lot of fun to experiment with those guys and find something that I like to do. And with these other two here, Keegan and Tyler, I've been with them for last year, and then going on this year for 2 years in a row now. And last year, we also didn't make it to state, but we still had the opportunity to go to state and experience kind of what that's like. So hopefully this year, now that we got a taste of it last year, we actually want to get there.
The key is having fun, though. It sounds like you're having fun.
Yeah, absolutely. We do like humor, group interp is kind of our thing. We like to do funnier ones just because, like, if you know us, we like to be funny and stuff like that. So that's kind of what we like to do, and I think we do pretty well on it. We just need to put in some more work this year to get to state.
All right. So what do you think it's going to take to get over the top there a little bit?
Well, it's going to be a lot of extra work because it's a different scoring system this year. I'm not sure exactly what it is, but it's different. It's going to be harder, I think, for us just because we have to score high, or not higher necessarily, but there's less point room for us to score, so we have to do better in that way. And, yeah, it's just going to be a lot of work.
Do you have to memorize what you're saying then? Okay.
We have introductions and transitions that we have to memorize, but they're not super long, so it shouldn't be too hard this year.
Okay. What's the method of the madness for you to memorize things? Do you have it down?
Yeah, I just go over it many, 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 many times.
For me, I used to record things, and then listen to it,
Yeah,
so.
yeah.
Yeah, burn a CD, but you probably don't do that.
No, we don't do that anymore.
Antiquated, Philly.
Yeah, I know. But in terms of getting involved in forensics and things like that, do you go out and try to recruit kids in the hall and say this is a cool thing to do?
Yeah, actually this year we were a person short for our group because we have a 5-person group. So we were going around the hall like, hey, you should come out and do forensics, join our group so we can compete. But not a lot of people were interested, which kind of, I think they should be because it's a great experience to get out there and practice your public speaking, because that's actually like a top fear in the world is public speaking, and I think it's so easily overcomable because you can just get out in high school and do all these opportunities at your hands. So
yeah, well said.
Yeah.
Right. So this is the only category you've ever been involved in, or have you done some other categories?
Yeah, just group interp, but it's a lot of fun. So
Cool. Keegan Jones is here as well. Keegan, tell me a little bit about this particular production that you guys will be putting on.
Well, this one, we had a piece last year that it was pretty funny, but we were pretty new to it, so we didn't have a lot of actions, like we call them. They're called blocking, and we didn't really have a lot of that, and I think the judges wanted more. So this year we're gonna try and work on more of that, and this one's also funny. Parts of the script are written by Jim Gaffigan, a comedian, and it's
it's about food.
Yeah, it's a script about.
He's worried he's gonna
Yeah.
let something loose, but it's pretty funny.
Yeah, it's a script about food and humor built around food. Different views like vegetarianism, and then how people oppose that, how people like that, and then it explains that in a humorous way to make it more appealing, which I think is fun.
Do you have to have props?
No, we aren't allowed props.
Okay.
But we are allowed to move, and we have our paper, but we can't use that as a prop. But we can only move and go in different positions and make last year we did a script about a dragon, and at the end of the script we formed us three into a dragon. So stuff like that.
Ah, I see.
Yeah.
Can you make eye contact when you're acting?
No, so with Group Interp is using pieces of literature that is performed dramatically, and so they're not permitted to act. So that's why it's mainly blocking. So it's not like you can't touch your partner to be able to, if you're in an embrace, you can't demonstrate what hand holding is. But in Group Interp, what they can do is break up the dialogue or the written piece to make it dramatic, and they have really good comedic chops. They have good timing.
Jim Gaffigan is a funny guy. Is it hard to not break character, and start laughing a little bit?
Yeah, especially with us. We're all buddies, so we like to have fun.
I'm sure of that. Did it take much convincing for you to join up forensics, Keegan?
Yeah, it did. I didn't really like public speaking. It's not my strong suit, but I recognize that as a weakness, and I saw this as an opportunity to maybe build on that skill, and it is definitely helpful. Like sitting here today, I think it definitely helped me, yeah.
Well said. Yeah, would you rather be out quarterbacking the football team or standing up in front of a group? I mean, what's tougher?
Yeah, definitely playing quarterback.
Quarterback, yes.
But that's the advantage to a group also, is you have people that you're working with that can help build some confidence. And there are other categories that offer group opportunities too. So even though the majority of them are single people and individual, the one that they chose to do as a group, it really suits them well.
Yeah. So senior year, it would mean a lot to you if you guys could make it a little bit further into maybe even the state level, right?
Oh yeah, that's the hope. Yeah, we've been talking about it ever since we didn't make it last year.
So it gave you something to build on.
Yep.
What was the critique like last year?
Well, I was pretty new last year, so I'm not really sure. It was, like I said, our blocking. We didn't really make enough actions, and then our some of our enunciation wasn't like up to their standards, how the judges wanted it, so we have to work on that. Yeah.
Good. Gives you some things to work on then. So.
Southwest Wisconsin has some of the most successful forensics. So talking also, we are going to speech. Forensics is kind of an antiquated word, and so they're trying to, with the more common definition of forensics does not bode well with speech, but Barneveld, Darlington, Fenimore, these are powerhouse programs. The state offers a top award selection at the end, and they always are on it. SAUC, they're really good around here. So those judges can be kind of harsh, but they're just trying to help you get better.
So they might be changing the title of forensics eventually? Is that the goal?
We are. So this is kind of the last year where it will be both forensics and speech, but our state office already had transitioned to speech last year. So I would say moving forward, next year it'll probably only be speech.
Because everybody thinks of CSI.
Right. I mean, you don't think about speaking. It's more, drawing a chalk outline and trying to get fingerprints and blood samples. So very far from public speaking.
Tyler Simons is here as well. Yeah, are you proud to be a member of this group?
I am, Phil. I started my sophomore year, and every year I feel like I've grown in public speaking, and talking to you here today has been super easier for me.
That's good. So, I mean, your group is, you say, a bunch of funny guys here, so it's not a real stretch to play the comedian, is it?
Yeah, for sure. No, we're actually, if we make it on past, or to make it to state, we're actually thinking about getting T-shirts made.
All right.
So I hope we get T-shirts ordered and made.
Look for that apparel store.
Yeah, absolutely. All your fans can buy them too then.
For sure.
Yeah. So did it take much convincing for you to join forensics?
It did. Freshman year, I did not go out for it. I was really kind of in a shell freshman year. And then sophomore year, I was convinced to come out, and we had a good group of guys sophomore year. So sophomore year, I decided to come out, and I feel like it's helped me tremendously with public speaking.
Are you involved in a lot of other groups at Ithaca?
Mainly FFA, FBLA for a short period of time. But yeah, forensics definitely has helped me in public speaking and events in FFA as well.
Indeed. Have you had some competitions with FFA this year?
I have, yeah. So I was in a contest in FBLA where you have to pick a topic and you have to write a speech on that in like a half an hour, and that really helped me as well, because then you have to take the note card that you wrote down all your words on, and then you have to give that speech to the people about the topic. So that really has helped me in FFA.
As one of your teammates mentioned, public speaking is a little bit of a fear. I mean, is this something that has helped you be able to get up now and kind of express yourself?
Oh yeah, for sure. Like I said, sophomore year, I was really contemplating about going out, but I'm glad I did, because it has really helped me.
Which one of you guys is kind of the coach of the team? Is there anybody, that's like, let's get fired up, let's get serious, guys? Who kind of steps up? Or
I don't know. I think they kind of each have their own role.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would say we kind of fire each other up most of the time. Yeah.
Yeah, they're in a group with Devin Ime and Peyton Brown. So, I mean, it's a big leadership-heavy group. They are all very strong leaders, but maybe sometimes the leadership role changes based on what's going on. Like, might be Keegan today because he's a little more of a serious let's get to it guy where Tyler's like, hey, we can do that better, guys.
Do you ever practice it when you're going to like road trips to basketball games or anything like that? Or?
No, not really. We kind of started practicing towards the end of last week because we just got our script in, and we've been practicing more now. This week we're going to start, obviously, because we compete Monday, so we better get on top of that. But I think we should be ready to go by Monday. We're going to start practicing hopefully 2 to 3 times a day.
That's awesome. So, you guys, you like to be well prepared, or you kind of like to fly by the seat of your pants?
Oh, definitely well prepared for me, but I think we do a good job of adapting when we're not that prepared. I think that's another thing about being in a group with each other. We're all friends, and we can, if there's a problem, we can solve it pretty quickly.
That helps. How many days of school left for the seniors? Has anybody got that marked on the calendar yet? Or
Too many, Phil.
Too many.
That's for sure.
That's a good, honest answer. We'll come back with more. We'll take a break and talk more about Ithaca and the forensics program. Keegan Jones, Houston Boland, Tyler Steinmetz on this part of the program. We'll talk to Alyssa Olson. We'll talk to a couple of other advisors for the program coming up when the morning show continues. Welcome back to our morning show on WRCO Radio. As we talk about Ithaca, we put the spotlight on the forensics program today. We heard from Keegan, Houston, and Tyler, and now Alyssa Olson is behind the microphone. Good morning, Alyssa.
Good morning, Phil.
So you're a sophomore at Ithaca.
Yeah, that's right. I started forensics when I was a freshman, so.
Did it take much convincing?
Kind of. I was a little hesitant at first because I've never really done public speaking, but the seniors last year really encouraged me to go out and try it, so.
Which category did you have last year?
I did poems last year. I feel like that was a good beginning for me because I didn't really know much about any other category. So poems was just a good starter.
To me, that would have been the hardest one when I was in high school, is poems.
Yeah. It was kind of hard to. It was harder to express yourself, through the words because they're a little more confusing but otherwise it was good. So.
Which category do you have this year, Alyssa?
I'm trying solo acting this year, which is like a huge step from poems, which is really different. So, but it's something new, and I was wanting to try it because last year it was not the best. But
so tell me about your category and what it requires and what you can and cannot do.
Yeah, so it's an 8 to 10 minute it's basically like a story. You can do serious or funny, and I'm doing serious this year. So you have to memorize it. It's all memorized, but you have a little introduction at the beginning. So, yeah, it's kind of hard to memorize the 8 minutes, and keep it going to stay within your time limit. But otherwise, it's good.
Do you have kind of an imaginary clock in your head, kind of knowing when you're going too long, or you got to speed it up?
Yeah, I'll when I'll kind of time myself and then kind of keep that pace in my head. So. For band, I play percussion, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
You can kind of get that beat going in your head a little bit. So it's serious. Is it a somber, sad piece that you have?
Yeah, it's about a girl who whoever she touches, she goes to their darkest moment in their life. So it's dark, but there's some funny moments in it. So I can kind of keep it a little upbeat, but also really gloomy and sad.
So what have you learned so far from being involved in forensics?
It's definitely helped me with my public speaking, and just also I've met a lot of new people within it too. So, yeah, it definitely helped with public speaking though, because I was not very good at just talking to people and putting myself out there. So.
Have you tried to recruit some other members of the team while in the halls?
Yeah, I've been trying to get a lot more of my classmates to go out because some of them like to talk a lot. So I was like, okay, I think you should go out for forensics, and they're like, oh, I don't know, and I was like, well, maybe next year. So
spin it into a positive thing.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. That's awesome, and that you get a chance to do that. And what are some other things you're involved in at Ithaca this year?
I'm involved in FFA, which I'm big in. I'm an officer for FFA, and FBLA, NHS. Let's see. I do a little book club too. I'm in book club, but yeah, and volleyball, softball. Band and choir.
Band and choir. You better say that. I think your director's in here. So
yeah.
Can't forget that.
No.
So do you think that you're going to stay in forensics all 4 years?
Yeah, I think I am. Just to keep on improving and keep trying to get better at public speaking. So.
Do you go home and you give the speech to your mom and dad, or?
Yeah, I did last year, and they were like, oh, and it was kind of sad. So they're like, oh, nice. I was like, yeah.
Do you have to have a different speech for every level? If you're fortunate to get by Monday, do you have to have a different speech prepared then?
No, so it's the same. It's the same thing. You just keep practicing, keep getting better, and like listen to what the judges want to critique and stuff. So yeah.
Are there other forensics categories you're interested in that you might maybe go to next year or when you're a senior?
Well, I'm not a whole lot aware of like what all of them are about and stuff, so I got to read into that. But the radio did sound interesting, so I'll have to look into them.
Good to hear that. Have you thought about a career yet that you'd like to get involved in when your schooling days are done?
Oh, I'm all over the place. I was thinking meteorologist a little bit, and let's see. I was thinking all over the place. Can't think of any other ones, but yeah.
That's awesome. Julie, anything you'd like to say about Alyssa?
Alyssa's been a really good example of seeing a lot of growth. And like Alyssa was saying, it's not just about being a more comfortable public speaker, but they start with this kind of quiet and very meek. Not that she's a meek person, but they don't sound as confident as you know that they are. Keegan's another example, just a more soft-spoken person. And you can see the growth, even from the first one. Like, so Alyssa selected these poems for the poetry category, and she's right. People think, oh, you just get up there and you read it, but your audience doesn't see the words. So you have to elicit that meaning. You have to portray the meaning of those words so that your audience can feel it and understand it quickly. And if you're a soft-spoken person, it's harder to get that meaning across. So it's been wonderful and really endearing and heartwarming to see that growth and to be able to hear them talk so confidently and off the cuff. We don't come here with a script. So it's really nice seeing them able to sit in front of a mic, talk with someone that they don't normally talk with about something that they enjoy.
Voice inflection is big too, isn't it, Alyssa?
Yeah, especially, like different tones and pitches and how loud you are and how not. So yeah, it definitely has a lot of meaning behind how you say the words and not just speaking them. So.
Great. Well, we wish you the best of luck coming up on Monday. We hope to see your name there going on to the next level. So.
Yeah, thank you.
And we also have a couple of the other coaches in here to join us. We have Kennedy Schellberg and we have Megan Amos, who are also helping out this year. Kennedy, we'll start with you. Is it a good group of forensics students this year?
I think so. I do know the majority of the students that are in it because they're involved in band and or choir, which is super, super awesome. But I've also been able to meet other students that are not involved in that, which has been super fun. And I'm super excited to coach because I did forensics when I was in high school. So this is just kind of a full circle moment for me where I get to kind of help people do something that I loved to do when I was their age. So
which category were you involved in?
So I did it for 3 years of high school. For my sophomore and junior year, I did solo acting like Alyssa is doing. And then my senior year, I decided to just completely change it up and I did impromptu speech, which is when you get 5 minutes to prepare and present an entire speech. So I did that and I actually ended up placing at sub-districts with that, which was crazy because I had never placed before in my life. But
that would be a challenge, I would think. Yeah.
Honestly, it was better for me because I didn't have time to overthink it and think about how good or how bad it is. You kind of just got to write it and just go for it. And I think that actually helped me to grow more confident in what I could do, which was nice.
Is there an area of the team that you specifically help out with at Ithaca, or are you assigned a few students, or you just kind of overall oversee it?
So my schedule is absolutely insane. So there are a couple spots on my schedule where I have time allotted for like specific students to work with me, but mostly I'm just kind of there if they're like, hey, can I read through my forensics piece for you? Do you have 10 minutes right now? And I can say, yeah, I can. Or Alyssa, I helped her choose her piece because solo acting is like my favorite category. I'm really into theater and solo acting is so much fun. So yeah, I help them as much as I can if they have any questions. Like this morning, one of them literally was like, can I just read my introduction for you during band? And I was like, yeah, of course you can. So I'm just kind of there to help. And like I said, I did it in high school, so I kind of know where they're at in like nervous and preparing for the contest on Monday, because my first forensics contest, I remember I was crapping my pants, to be fully honest with you. It was absolutely horrifying, but it was so much fun, and I'm so glad that I did it, but it's a little bit nerve-wracking.
Yeah.
But I'm really proud of the kids for putting themselves out there like that. Because even some of the band and choir kids who I'm like, I've never heard them speak before. And now they're like doing all of these amazing, fantastic like pieces. And I'm like, wow, these kids are pretty cool.
Yeah. So you recruit during the band and choir hours that, hey, you guys should be in forensics?
I always trying to recruit. Band and choir is always trying to recruit, but yeah, I'm always trying to get people involved in new things because, you never know what you're going to like to be involved in. So forensics for me, even in high school, it was really random. They were like, you're in theater, you should try this. And I was like, okay. And then I did it for 3 years. I did go to state all 3 years as well that I did it. So, yeah.
For you, this is probably a no-brainer, but sometimes for getting up and singing a song solo would be more nerve-wracking for somebody else. But what was for you, getting up and speaking, or getting up and singing or playing?
Speaking was always more nerve-wracking for me. Even at the concerts when I'm conducting, the part that scares me the most is when I'm talking in between the songs. That's the part that I hate the most. Because I feel like when I'm performing, like I had a piano recital a little over a year ago, I'm like, I have my instrument. Like this is I have my crutch here, or when I'm singing, I have someone up there with me, playing the piano. But when you're speaking, it's just, you and your voice, and your personality comes through so much. So especially when you're just giving a speech, or even when you're solo acting, it's such a vulnerable position to be in, because as much as you are portraying somebody else, you are showing aspects of your personality that maybe people have never seen before. And it's very vulnerable, and it can be very, very nerve-wracking, but it's also amazing, and it exposes you to scary stuff like that before they have to, do it in the big, bad, real world out there. So. Mm-hmm.
Well said. Megan Amos is here as well. Megan, you're coaching this year. What made you decide to want to help out with the team?
Well, being a first-year teacher and teaching middle school English, I thought it would be a good step, and I can get some recruiting down in middle school for when they get to high school. I was never in forensics when I was in school. Coming from a bigger district, I didn't know what it was even. I had a couple friends who were, I'm in forensics, we have these competitions, and I was really confused about it all. So hearing that it was an available position and being asked if I was possibly interested in it, I said yes, and I said that's another new thing to try, and it's been really fun so far.
Do you do things at the middle school level? I know you don't have competition, but do you encourage that? Do you have some speeches and classes and things like that?
We haven't so far, but there are going to be some opportunities coming up pretty soon, especially in the higher levels, so 7th and 8th grade. But yeah, nothing yet, at least. Uh-huh.
So as far as the coach, what do you bring to the table? Kind of what is your area of expertise here?
So I'm kind of just the floater. If they are comfortable coming to me, because a lot of the students don't know who I am, being in the middle school and also not being from the area. I had a couple students who reached out, and so I helped them with their stuff. So I'm hoping that as time goes by, they're more open to coming to me, but I'm there if they need it. Mm-hmm. So.
Yeah, good. And I think it's good to get them involved and get them excited about it at the middle school level so that you can maybe build on this team a little bit too, right?
For sure.
Sure. Which category fascinates you the most here as you've had a chance to hear the speeches and look at them?
I'd say radio. I think getting a collection of works and having to sort it yourself and figure out how you're going to portray it in your own radio character, I think that's really interesting. And I had no idea that it was even a category to do, I guess. So I think it's pretty cool.
I think that's well said, and I think that that also teaches you time management and pressure. I mean, you're under the clock here that you got to get this done by a certain time too, right?
Yeah, exactly. So I think it's a great skill to have, because in the future, these kids are going to have to advocate for themselves, be able to tell something within a certain amount of time, and having to be able to crunch it in a short amount of time is a really good skill to have. So
there's a lot of work behind the scenes. Have you got your job description for Monday night? What you're going to be doing hosting this event?
I will be adjudicating. So I got my certification, just got the results this morning, so that was a nice time to cheer this morning. Good way to start the day. So I'll be adjudicating. I'm not exactly sure what that's going to look like for me, but I'm excited for it regardless. So.
Do you know what categories you'll be judging or not?
I do not.
Okay.
No.
So it'll be a surprise when you get there on Monday then.
Yep.
So, well, very good. So you're looking forward to it, and then maybe kind of learning here and maybe staying involved in it as a teacher then down the road.
Yes, for sure.
Good deal.
I've enjoyed it so far, so I'm going to keep going.
What are some other things going on in the middle school? Anything coming up? Any for middle school English or anything like that for the spring? Anything in terms of competitions or anything like that?
No competitions, but getting our field trips ready for each grade. That's currently being processed and all of that. So can't exactly say where yet, but very exciting things coming up, and I'm really excited for them to come to that stuff.
Working on that. And Kennedy, what about the next music concerts at Ithaca? When will they be?
So the next concert is May 5th, Cinco de Mayo. It's a Tuesday night, and it is being shared with Peg Durkin and her art students as the art show. So it's going to be kind of a combined arts night. It's going to be super fun. This one is band and choir, so it's just one big night. And the day after that is when we head to Boscobel to compete in large group contest, which is where we get critiqued by judges. The kids get to hear from, a conductor that's not me, and we get a score. So that's crazy. And I'm also actually the middle school student council advisor, so that's been an adventure. We're doing the first middle school dance in a while, coming up in April, so that'll be really fun.
Oh, yeah, that's awesome. I brought that back.
Yeah, the kids were very excited, but they're like, we don't want to ask the boys, and we don't ask. And I'm like, oh my goodness. I'm like, I have no part of that. Like, you do that.
It's all a part of life lessons, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So you've got all your musical pieces chosen out for the upcoming contests and everything?
I do, yes. So for the contest, for each ensemble we bring, we're bringing 7th and 8th grade band, high school band, 7th and 8th grade choir, high school choir. You have to choose a piece from a list. And then it's a time allotted. So I think it's about 10 minutes is the max for a performance. So you have to sing a piece from the list that you choose, and that determines what class you're in. So we're doing class B. So like class C is the easy class B, and class A. Just because of numbers, we're doing class B. But you choose a piece from the list, and then you can do whatever other songs that you want. Doesn't matter what class they are, doesn't matter what genre they are, but you just have to do the one that's from the specific list. And we have all those chosen. I just finished ordering the last few pieces last week, so we've been working on them, and it's going to be super exciting.
Great. Good to have you in here again. Good luck to both of you. Julie, when you talk about forensics, you've coached athletics as well, and you see growth as an athlete, but I'm guessing sometimes you might see more growth individually with forensics, don't you?
I think so. I mean, this is, being an academic extracurricular, there are assumptions with athletic that aren't always true with academic extracurriculars. So, if you're a 9th grader, you got to work your way up to varsity. With academic extracurriculars, that's typically not the case. Everybody's varsity. And then you're competing against other high schoolers. There isn't JV varsity. It's anybody who's in that category. So I think even within the competition, because they're seeing other examples of poetry or prose or group interp or solo acting or what have you, there's a lot of growth from round to round. And I think that's what's really wonderful to see. And I find a lot of pride in coaching and advising a group like this because, there are definite real-world applications to public speaking. And yes, there are wonderful things that you learn and grow in athletics, but this is very tangible. It translates exactly to real world, and that's just been very valuable for me.
Ithaca hosting on Monday night. Could you use some more assistants and volunteers?
I've pretty much wrangled all the staff members that are available that night, but I do know there is a huge need for volunteers in all aspects of school. There are needs for volunteers to help with concessions or adjudicating for forensics. I know other schools were looking at needs there too. Shout out to all the people in our communities, the surrounding communities that stepped up to do that because there is a huge need. And, just talking with Melissa Sprecher and Annette Lewis, the fairs that our communities provide, that's a lost art. There are only a few left. So it takes a lot of people to do those things. And those of us who are involved in a lot of things, we'd love to have new faces turning up. And we'd love to see new ideas, hear new ideas, and have fresh faces helping with those events. So volunteers are always welcome.
Best of luck.
Thank you.
Thanks for organizing this morning show
Thanks
today.
for having us, Phil.
You bet. Julie Thompson joining us, Kennedy Shellberg and Megan Amos, and Alyssa Olson on this portion of the show.